Operation status quo. Operation status quo. Prepare to engage. Operation status quo. Ready to engage. Operation status quo. Engaged. Engaged. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, and welcome to Operation Status Quo here on a Tuesday. It's a beautiful Tuesday. It's a beautiful Tuesday. Are you having a beautiful Tuesday out there? You know how much I love you guys out there, and all I really care about is how much fun you have in your day-to-day life, because that's what it's all about, enjoying life and having a good time. That's what we talk about here on Operation Status Quo. Well, not just having a good time, but giving ourselves the space to have a good time and not to be so caught up in all the nonsense and fears and everything else that goes on in this crazy world that we're living in today. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Pete Palma. I am broadcasting live from the comfy confines of my very own home. Hello and welcome, and thank you for being here with me in my home. Please have a seat if you want to come over here, if you'd like to go over here, wherever you want to go. My casa esta you casa. I'm multilingual. In case you didn't realize that. But anyway, let's see here. Yes, this is Operation Status Quo. Of course, this is the place where we observe the status quo of life. We learn to flow with the status quo of life. And then, of course, we create our own flow of quo. Yo, because that's the only way to go. That's faux show, you know? And hopefully you're doing that out there, especially during these holiday times. As we talked about yesterday a little bit with the Christmas Craze Crunch. That's what I really should have called it. Now that I'm thinking about it, I called the show yesterday the Christmas Craze. I should have called it the Christmas Craze Crunch. You know, I'm always big on the alliteration. I always alliterate as much as I can anyway. I enjoy alliteration because even my name is alliteration. Pete Palma, right? You know, it's kind of fun to alliterate. Why not? You know, use some of those grammatical or language tools out there to let your speech be more reflective and creative and energetic and positive. I don't know what the hell I'm saying. I never know what the hell I'm saying, but I'm saying a lot of stuff. That for sure I do know, ladies and gentlemen. So, but seriously, I hope you're doing well, and I hope you're, finding your flow of quo out there. As I always like to say, please let me know in the comments what you're doing out there to make today your best day, because every day should be your best day. So today, ladies and gentlemen, is the 19th of December in the good year 2023, and today's program is entitled The Step by Step. Yes. I went back on, I guess it was back right after Labor Day, because all the, I thought, as you guys know, a lot of people out there, first of all, not just me, we're all following a lot of information, right? It's like information overload out there right now as far as all kinds of, no matter what side of anything you're on. I mean, it's just like, it's relentless, right? Of the news stories that come in, that this little thing's happened and that little thing's happened. And what was they just saying today about where's this earthquake? Was it in Finland or Norway? Or I don't know where the hell it was. I forgot to go back. Let me see if I see it real quick, because I don't want to misquote. But there was... there's an earthquake. There was a big volcano, rather. Did I say earthquake? If I did, I meant to say volcano. There's a volcano today. Let's see if it pops back up here, because it was one of the big stories. Let's see if it still shows, because they say, no, I don't know which one it is now. Anyway, there was like some big volcano or something or whatever. Long story short, I'm just trying to make the point that it's chaotic wherever you go. One day it's a volcano, then it's an earthquake, then it's a flood, then it's some huge storm, then it's the aliens and the dinosaurs and the asteroids and the lions and the tigers and the bears. Oh my, right? So it just kind of goes on and on and on and on. And it is information overload at this point. I do think us as a society, we're kind of exhausted. Not even want to say as a society, as a human population existing in this world. It's become exhausting since the start of the fake pandemic back in 2020, which was the catalyst to bring us to the space of where we are today, to be able to see things from such a different perspective. And that's kind of really what I wanted to speak about today, and to reassure people, because this is a place of love and joy and positive, and I say things the way I say them sometimes, like even when I say the way I talk about the pandemic. And quite honestly, let me just make it clear. It's just me and my personality, and I like to kind of get the point across. And sometimes, I say things in a certain way because I know it'll get not saying I know it'll get a reaction, but somebody's ears might perk up a little bit. So I'm really just trying to get people to listen to the bigger messages. I couch it in certain ways, at times. So first and foremost, I don't make light of anyone that lost anyone during that time. Obviously there was some sort of bug around. My personal belief is that it was like, I look at it this way. It was just taking another strain of the flu, whether it was, man-made and purposely put out into society, or whether it was just another flu, or whatever the case may be. But basically, they took this strand of flu, they gave it a name, they started a media campaign, right? I mean, we know by now. We're going on 4 years, right? So I think we pretty much know at this time I think most people do, except for the people that I still see out there wearing masks and stuff. I guess they're still into it. They're a little behind the curve, but that's okay, because we're all one humanity, and it's all about helping each other and building each other up, and not criticizing and putting people down for the spaces that they still are within, because life is a learning journey for each of us, and we all have to go through what we have to go through in the ways that we have to go through it to complete the lessons that we need to learn here in this physical life. But so I'm not making light. I'm sorry for anyone that lost anyone during that time. But let's just, aside from that, we all lose people, and people are croaking every day over this, that, and the other. Nobody cared before, COVID, how many people died of the flu each year or anything. It was never a big deal. But really, the numbers were kind of the same. So, but and of course, the flu disappeared when COVID came, which is another amazing. Whoa! Have we got a round of applause for that? It's amazing. How did that happen? Wow, that's amazing. Heyo. So, those are just a little clues that kind of cue us into the fact that, our mainstream structure is generally a lie. But so the point of today really is to reassure people and to give people hope. I started speaking on this, I was saying back like after Labor Day, that I really felt we were kind of coming to crunch time towards the end of the year, and we were going to see some big events and the world would change, could still, on a dime, really, at any time, just like it did in 2020, right? So, but I do believe that we're moving towards things, and I do believe that we're going to have some sort of event. I can't say what it would be per se, probably something that'll affect the economy in some way, because, that's really the big story. I don't want to get too far off point, but the point the gist of what I'm saying is, we're moving towards things, and a lot of stuff is going on. You see how much has happened in the last if you want to just go back to October, right? It started with Israel, and, see everything that's now we're, getting Biden's about, going through some impeachment inquiry and such. And, all these things are, playing out. Epstein's back in the news, different things about him. So, it's really interesting, because when COVID first happened, it was just kind of like a total download of all kinds of, information, right? And a lot of this stuff prior to COVID, we would have said, just for example, like the moon landing, some people dispute, was that real or not real, right? I'm not getting into talk about all that stuff today, even the flat earth stuff. What was the other thing that I was thinking? The Roswell, right? Roswell, like that's always been like one of those things. Oh, is there really an area, 51? Is there really aliens there? And, did they really get and all these things were just kind of, even JFK and the assassination, who's the guy with the umbrella, all these little kind of stories, they were always floating around of, what's a conspiracy, what's not, what's, all these little, what's the real truth, and everybody just kind of knows that other shit goes on, but they don't really care because blah, 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 blah. But then COVID happened, right? And then all of a sudden, it really was like all this stuff came up as one together into one big story. And like, I don't know how many of you out there see it in that regard, but it's really what kind of, brought me to where I am today in the way I go about my life since the pandemic, just because I started searching a lot of stuff. I didn't believe it from the beginning. From as soon as they came on the news that day and said, we're adjusting to the new normal, and nothing even happened yet. It literally was like they just said they're going to shut stuff down for a little bit, 2 weeks, the curve, all that blah, 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 and all that type of thing. And, but the news, all the channels, right? They're on every day, the new normal, the new normal, the new normal, the new normal, just pounding it. And I'm like, whoa, like, never really believed the news anyway, in a sense, but like it really made me think. And then, that starting to look into that led down all these paths of coming to the realization that, what I talk about all the time here on Operation Status Quo is that our whole mainstream world is a facade designed to entrap, enslave, and basically kill humanity, at least kill the spirit, and the soul of humanity, and make us little bots in their system so they can maintain control and power over us. And, some people go down the levels of talking about aliens and such, like the Draco, the reptilians and all, and how they feed off of energy, and we're purposely kept in a state of perpetual fear because they're actually feeding off the emotional energy that we put out, living in that way. So I mean, it can go deep as deep as you want it to go, So, but the bottom line is, and the beautiful aspect of this to me, quite honestly, is just that how it's awakened so many people to a new way of thinking, a new way of looking at things. Even people that are not, hardcore into certain ways of looking at things that I am, I see little by little the things that they say differently or look at differently than they would have in the past. I also see some of the things that the media has put out. I'm even surprised myself that they put it out, because that's what makes me think it's a bigger plan and things are in control in a different way. Because, the truth is, if they really wanted to keep us suppressed in a sense, some of this information that comes out, and it's not like, just hard, blatantly come out and say X, Y, or Z. It's more of, these subtle little things, or just bringing up a topic that would never have really been brought up before, especially the human trafficking. I've talked about that, how much on the news, all of a sudden you start seeing these stories about human trafficking and, these kids were found, and, different little things that were, you just thought, it's some creep that, is kidnapping kids here or there, just crazy, just random crazy kook people that would do something like that, not really thinking it from the perspective of how much of a business it really is. I mean, not for anything, look at the movie Taken, right, with Liam Neeson. That shit's real, right? I mean, like that, they're not just like making it up, right? So I mean, there's high profile people, billionaires, millionaires, whatever, that are, literally buying people and stuff. I mean, people get kidnapped, get sold. I mean, it's really, this is the fact that something like that goes on is, insanity. And remember, the movies are always showing us, what's going on in the real world, because, it's just part of what has to be done from the side of evil. They have to tell you what they're doing. They can't pull the wool over your eyes. It's almost like entrapment, with the police or something, right? Like they can't put you in a position where you commit a crime without you knowing, right? Even like with tickets or something, they can't, they're supposed to be out in the open so you can see the car. They can't hide and then get you for speeding or something, right? It's an entrapment. So it's the same thing with humanity, right? Like, the powers that be, they know the plans that they're doing to keep humanity suppressed. So they have to show you what's going on. They do it through the movies. That's why the CIA created Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. That's why Hollywood is this perversion. It's just a den of perversion in general. I'm sure there's nice people and everything, but the main machine, just like Disney, it's the same thing. It's like they come as your friends. They come as your friends. Pop culture, the cool people. This is what the cool people are doing, and they're just putting messages through all the time that are perverse, essentially. I even saw this commercial with Lady Gaga recently for whatever medication prescription drug that she's out there pushing, and I really look at her and I'm like, she's sitting there playing the piano and she's all the black stuff and the black makeup and blah, blah, and she looks like, Satan. She looks evil. I've also heard that she's a man, that's a whole nother thing with who's really men and who's really women, and this whole culture of, you think it's easy to spot, right? You think you would know a guy that was dressing as a woman or something, but it goes deeper than that. These people in these higher powers, they sacrifice really, their children to the cause, and they'll turn them into a different sex, over the course of their young life. So by the time they're like 20, 30, whatever, they really do look like a woman or a man, based on a whole lifetime of like surgeries and manipulation and hormones and everything else. So anyway, that's a whole nother, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place with these tangents, because again, the point of this show is step by step. And why I'm saying that is because it has to go this way, like as far as for humanity to change. Like, I get down on it myself sometimes. I'm always looking for, well, why can't we just get to the bottom of this stuff and start fresh? And, I say this as far as, this is Earth is a school and it's the playground. We're here to learn. Everything is done in its perfection, whether we understand it or not. Things may seem, totally chaotic and crazy. But I really believe in one energy, one source energy. You want to call it God, you want to call it the universe, whatever you like to use. But let's just say God, source, the universe, right? One energy spot that encompasses the entirety of all existence, right? So when you look at it from that point of view, you realize then that even the most evil stuff that we see in the world is also part of the creation of the Creator, right? So it kind of, again, all this takes the pressure off of the fear, of the anger that we have and the anxiety, all these things. It takes the pressure off, because if you see it from that perspective, and you see it from the perspective that, we are spiritual beings having a physical experience, and then, it all works out the way it's supposed to work out, right? I mean, you're going to question, like, like I'm saying, if the universe is all one energy and everything's a balance and done in its own way, for everything to work in harmony the way it's supposed to work, just because we don't understand it, or certain things that we want to label as good, bad, right, wrong, and all that type of thing, doesn't mean that, we're right? We're all individual observation points. So we're all seeing the world from the perspective that, our filter shows. So, we don't even know what the ultimate truth is really, and the ultimate truth really is the release of our thoughts and our belief systems and such, right? If you think about it, because it is our thoughts, our ideas, our belief systems that keep us, encapsulated into, one view, one way of going through our life. I'm not saying going to totally detach from that, because, we are created to be the observation point that we are, which means, we have certain filters in place to see things in a certain way, because we're seeing things in a certain way, each of us as individuals, so that, it pushes us along in our journey. I mean, our journey wouldn't be our journey if we didn't have our own filter, as it were, our own observation point that I always like to say. So, it would just be everybody would be the same. There is no perfection. There's never going to be a perfect world of love and harmony, like for all time, and everybody's just dancing around singing Kumbaya forever. It's just never going to happen. There's always going to be a balance of, sometimes I think, over course of humanity's existence, not say just our lifetime, but course of humanity's existence, there's always going to be a level, there's always going to be higher levels of the bad, what we would call the bad, say negative or evil energy, just for, terms that we have to put it into. And then there's going to be periods of time where the good, that we would look at as good and say is good, would take more precedence than the bad. So, and it just goes in cycles for humanity to learn the lessons it needs to learn. And the biggest takeaway, and what I'm really trying to get across here today on my super long-winded way of doing it, ladies and gentlemen, is really just to remind everybody that, there is nothing to fear, and we should, and I was going to say we should have hope, but not hope in the sense of, sitting back and just going, oh, I hope something happens. Like hope, real hope, like, hope and like, vibrance in confidence, these type of things in our way of proceeding with everything. And just let me round it out, because man, I really went all over the place, but it's really hard to like put all this into one way. And me, guys, I'm just kind of free flow here. You know what I'm saying? I got no notes. I got no papers. I got no notes. I mean, this is just coming out, just really expressing me and my view and my perspective. And for me, it's just, I like the idea of making people not making people feel, but giving people a space to hopefully, I'm using the word hope, to hopefully, find some comfort in some of these bigger ideas, and not to get too hung up on all the little particulars. So the show today, Step by Step, I use that title because everything is step by step. When COVID happened, you see how all of a sudden everything got totally, polarized. These conversations that people were having before about some of the like Roswell and things I mentioned earlier, it wasn't such a point of contention. People would talk about it. You might get laughed at if you said something, but nobody's going to like hate you over it in a sense. But now, like, everything is super polarized. Like these discussions I see about the flat earth, these discussions I see about the vaccines, these discussions I see about politics, whatever. It's come to a point now where everybody's so really, ticked off. But why? Because ultimately, deep down, subconsciously, in our hearts, in our spiritual sense, our spiritual truth, knowingness that, that we're not always engaged with, we know that this world is not right in the way it is, right? We know that people aren't treated fairly. We know that, we're in a system, basically, that, we have to play by the rules if you want to survive in a way. You have to work, make money, pay your taxes, live by the rules of your community. Not to say we shouldn't have some sort of parameters of a civilized society. I just mean, but the way it's done is more so of, keeping us down and keeping people keeping people so busy with shit that don't mean shit that, they're not able to really get in touch with themselves, and be free. And when COVID happened, I think that was the start. And again, everything is in its perfect plan. So whether it was an evil thing that they were trying to kill the population, but maybe it was, but it didn't work. Really look at what it's done. Since then, everybody's been looking at things in such a different way, right? All this stuff. I don't even care. I already know, but I never believed really in the medical system. They're always just trying to give you a pill or a surgery or something, right? It's all nonsense. The pharmaceutical companies own everything. We know this, right? So, but look at how much has come out against, Pfizer and some of these other, companies since the jab came out. Look at all these people that have been dying. They don't talk about it. They don't come on the news and really do a report. You're not going to see that on World News or any of these, or CNN or anything. They're going to come out and do a real report to really show how many more young people that were healthy or just dropping dead of heart attacks and stuff, since they got this jab. Now, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, was every single jab poison? I really don't know. That's a whole nother, again, it's just a whole nother story. But the point of all this is that, since this time happened back in 2020, it's been step by step, right? That's what I was waiting for everything to come out way back then. I saw this information. I realized what's going on. And it's a bigger, spiritual war really going on at a higher level. Even like stuff like with World War II, it never ended. It's really the same war. It's like, it's always been the same, all these years, all these generations. We always think it's this event, this event, this event, but it's not. Like, these events are just little markers in the whole big picture of the same battle that's like going on for eternity in a sense, right? So we as a humanity, either way, let's be real. We realize that, it's never going to go back to what it was pre-COVID, right? And we see that, things are heating up more and more in different ways. There's more and more volatility. There's, more and more division in certain ways. So, it's building and building to a point where, it's, the shit's got to hit the fan in a way, right? I'm just saying, like, at some point it all has to, kind of come to fruition in a way that brings people, back together and moving forward in another direction. How that's going to play out, when that's going to play out, I don't know. Again, I don't think anything's going to be so dramatic that, all of a sudden tomorrow it's a whole new world. But it will be in a way. Again, I'm contradicting myself in a way, because I'm thinking, like I just said, when COVID happened, it was a whole new world just like that, right? So, and we're still in that process. Humanity. The beautiful thing is, think about it. This is this is the hope and the positive that I want to put with this, and why I say step by step, because it's exhausting sometimes to follow all this. It's exhausting to be looking for how the world's going to move forward? Are we ever going to get out of this? Blah, blah, blah. But, the truth is step by step. And where we are here 4 years later since COVID started, there's like millions. I mean, think about all over the world, not just here in the United States, all over the world, people are seeing a whole nother way that they didn't see before. People are saying, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to be, under the rule of this system, that's trying to keep me down, right? So, and I just want to encourage everybody who's out there who, I know we all follow a lot of people who are watching this that maybe follow a lot of the truth community stuff. It gets deep, right? It gets deep in that, and that becomes like a battle. And then and people get exhausted. I'm tired of hearing this, and I'm tired of hearing that, and I'm giving up, and blah blah. There's nothing to give up on. Like this is the transition process, and everything takes time. It takes years. I think I kind of said this before. Just think about, if you were, a kid, and how much your life is different now. If you're like, an older person, like, whatever age you are, But either way, over the course of years, just think of your life decade by decade and how much different it is. I think of my grandparents, when in their day, they were coming around with a horse-drawn cart, with vegetables and stuff on it to buy food, and, how much different their world was by the time they passed away. So, I mean, humanity might not have grown so much during that time in certain ways, but, our technology and our way of living in our world did. And it's the same thing. It's just going to keep going. And, with the AI now and everything else, who knows how fast things will move forward. But, the main point is we don't know anything really overall. It's all the plan that's meant to be. I don't want to go over the top, say God's plan, but it is. And everything happens in the timing that it's meant to happen. And I think the most important thing is for all of us not to be overly attached. I think we should be strong in ourselves, have resolve, believe in ourselves, and move forward with the faith that we have, that we know that we are spiritual beings having the physical experience, and the faith that we know that there's higher power at work that is making things happen. And for better, for worse, whatever it is, these are all the lessons that we have to learn as individuals. These are the lessons that humanity has to learn in this time. And, the energy is not going to flip to make a better world until more people are in the space of wanting to make a better world, right? The people, they have to come out of wanting to just, sit with their face in their phone, or be captured by social media and Hollywood and whatever the new mainstream gadget is that everybody's cool, like with what Furbies. Remember Furbies back in the day? Or, we're gonna have a Furby. You know what I'm saying? Like it's always some dumb new thing that just like takes everybody off track. And until we're not to say we can't enjoy things and have fun. I'm not trying to be that way. I'm just saying, like, until we can take our focus off, that maybe our relationship with ourselves and with nature and with God is more important than a Furby. Once we can get to that kind of point, we'll have different priorities in our society. We won't be like tearing down, a forest to build a factory to make Furbies, and dump all the waste into the river that's over there. I'm just saying we'll have a different set of priorities in how we use our technology and use our intellect and use our ability to have fun and have joy in life. So anyway, I mean, that's pretty much it. It's the holidays, like I was saying, obviously that. I don't have to tell you it's the holidays. Merry Christmas, happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah's over, right? Kwanzaa, and what's the other one? Is it Delan? Not Delani. How do you say it? Anyway, the Hindu one. But anyway, long story short, and a long story even longer, and not as short as I could have made it. But stay positive out there. Don't get down. I hear a lot of people say that they're giving up and they're tired and they're exhausted. And hey, listen, I get it. Me too. I have my days too. So this is where we are right now. And truthfully, we should really be happy because we're in such a better place, really, than we were pre-COVID, because at least, now we have the opportunity to, the structures are shaken and we have the opportunity to create new. Back then, it was it. Like everybody was just all in on the system and just running the rat race, right? So now we really have the space to, people are seeing things differently. They want things to be different. This Gen Z coming up, really kind of bucking the system with some of the ways they don't want to do. And I think that's great. I'm getting old. So, I'm looking forward to the younger generation coming in with their idealistic ways and saying, we're not going to do it no more. We're not going to do it no more. So don't get down out there. Stay positive. Just remember, everything is a plan. Everything is step by step, and I'm not talking about the plan like, the Trump's plan and the Q plan, and for people who follow that stuff, with the whole trust the plan thing, I believe in that, and I believe it's part of it, but I'm also saying from a higher perspective, with or without that, it's just remembering that you're here, the circumstances and parameters of each of our lives are done in a way that are meant to be done for all of our souls, and for each of our soul's purposes and such. So, just remember that, you could just take it light, and stay strong, and don't give up on, what you believe, stand, it's not, and again, cause I talked about letting go of our beliefs, but I don't mean let go of your beliefs and don't believe anything. I just mean, stand by your beliefs. This is what you resonate with. This is how you want to move forward. This is how you create your own flow of quo, as I say, but we don't get too attached, and we remember that, okay, I am just the observer. These are the parameters within which my energy, flows, and then, and go with that without getting all caught up too much into it. Even if you're, whatever you believe in, just don't get too caught up in it and make it like, it's got to be this, it's nothing's that black and white, is all I'm saying. So remember, step by step, think about, when you get down, think about how much has transpired, how much has changed, how much has happened since COVID, prior to before. People didn't even know anything at all. Now people are asking questions. So, the world's in chaos because the powers that be know that this is happening, and, they're trying to maintain their control. It's like their last gasp, their last attempt at maintaining power. So it's going to be as chaotic as they need it to be, to make everyone feel as down as they can, because if people don't feel happy and don't have faith, and, there's no resistance, right? So don't let it get you down. Stay positive. That's all I really kind of want to say today, that I've probably said the same thing a gazillion times over and over in the same video. But thank you for being here today with me, ladies and gentlemen, on Operation Status Quo. You get what I'm talking about. So live true, be positive, stay happy. Remember, everything's happening as it should. There's bigger forces at play up there that are making things happen. And, I would trust in that, because, that's the universe itself is if you got that on your side, then you know what I'm trying to say. You don't need an army, you don't need anything. So I mean, anyway, so that's what I got for you here today. Keep enjoying your holidays. We're counting down to Christmas. We'll be doing I'll probably do some kind of like Christmas list thing or something as we get towards the end of the week here, and have a little fun with that. But anyway, that's what I got for you here today on Operation Status Quo, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you haven't done so already, please take the time to like, subscribe, share, send this out to your friends, your family, those you love, and of course, those you despise as well. As you well know, I love each and every one of you, individually as well as a group. God bless you out there, and until tomorrow, Operation Status Quo, disengaged.
Boulevard of 10 short blocks.